one end, and then they bring it up, and if it's can't get the draw that they want, they know they have to do it another tap. So now we have two spots on the same system as when they do the radon.
For the radon.
Yeah. And
Okay.
that's to be this pipe here.
Okay.
It goes across, comes down, and then of course the fan is on the exterior side, which goes through the wall here. Yeah, how many guys do you see cut through block?
Wow.
You don't see that anymore.
And you like this radon guy?
Yeah, they call him Mr. Radon.
Oh.
He's the guy. He's the one that was up Limerick. Remember up in Limerick, they had a guy coming in to the Limerick all the time, and they go through the monitor, and he kept setting it off. And they found his house had like 2,000 picocuries in it, and they trying to figure out what. Yeah, he was like right on the line of where radon was coming in, and what they did a test on him, and here they found out he was bringing it in. It was in his clothes and stuff.
That's
yeah,
hysterical.
and that's how he wound up leaving Pico, and then he wound up starting a business. That's why they call him Mr. Radon, because he's the guy that started the whole thing. So if you're doing a recording for these people, this is what you're going to see. So the best way I always tell people is to mark them. Okay. Now a lot of times if they start dipping on everything, people what they do, they add a dye to it. Okay. Because they say it should be up to about where the point is here. It don't mean there's something wrong with the system at all. It don't mean that at all. That's normal. Okay. If you want to add a little more blue dye, so be it. And you can bring it up to that point there. But that's what it looks like when there's no power. Everything should equal 0.
Okay.
Okay, so the only way you want to get this.
We want it off kilter.
Yeah, and there's the switchboard right here. Right on thing. So if it's off, if I turn it off, it goes back to 0.
Okay.
So the only way would be, that's why they put it out of reach.
Okay.
So the only way this will probably go back to 0 if the outside fan malfunctions.
Okay.
Meaning it's seized and you need a new fan. And usually, if you get an electrician to do it, it's roughly about $500 for him to replace it. Because it's like usually $250, $300 for the fan, and then $250 for him to put it in. That type thing. All right. But the longevity of them is pretty good because I still have mine 17 years later. It's still working on the same motor, so it all depends on the motor itself.
So what happened around here? You said
what we had a problem here is we do have block wall. Okay? Mm-hmm. And what happened was we had a water problem. So somewhere on the exterior side, we had water coming through the block and it got into this area here.
Okay.
So what they did, they hired a professional company to come out. And what they did, they installed this draining system. So this black stuff here has nipples on the back of it. Mm-hmm. And that's so that the water does come through, it leaches back in. And then, of course, in the gray part, they break up, and then what they do is put a pipe in. Okay. Now I might backtrack on something here on the radon.
Okay.
There's something here about the radon, and it's important. You might want to get it checked out. I'll tell you why. Because I'm willing to bet in 1996 we didn't have this French drain, and this is what I learned in school. Now that I look at it, if you look down here, you see where they did the concrete and everything?
Yes.
Which means they bust up the floor. So in 1996, that water level was up to there. And DEP and all them will tell you, if you mess with a system such as this, they tell you get it retested. Because that's what throws this off. So it ain't don't add water to it. Just forget that idea. They always say get it retested because now you just changed the function of the system.
Okay.
They want to make sure it's working correctly, and if not, then you have to call a professional in. Okay. Yeah, I didn't notice it until just now, but that's exactly what happened. They interfered after the system was already in. So when did they put the waterproofing system in?
I don't know.
Okay. So I'm figuring the last few years or so. Okay. So that's exactly what this is. So any water that comes through the exterior side of the home on this side of the house, it's only on 2 sides. This side here. And this side right here goes all the way up to that wall there. All right, all the hints are there of where the water was coming in, as you can see from the bottom.
And they put that all in, yes.
Yeah. And then 2, guess where the other problem was? The window. It wasn't a problem at the time. All right. So what they do now to alleviate the problem is they put this French drain in, and that's exactly what they do. For your client, tell them not to mess with a black part. Usually these all come with a warranty.
Yes.
From the company that installed it.
Okay.
So if that's the case, you do not cut the black part. Leave it alone because it voids the warranty. Anything you touch on that system voids it. They look for reasons to get out of it.
Right.
All right.
Right.
So yeah, that's exactly what I see right here. So there's a pipe in there. Any water comes to the wall, goes in the pipe, comes back into here, into the sump pump, and then of course this is the sump pump discharge right here, and this what takes it back out to the exterior side of the home. That's exactly how it works.
Okay.
All right.
And the heater mechanism is
Yeah.
no like down here.
The heater's new. All right. Obvious it is. It tells us on the display here. They added a new AC coil. So what they're telling me is Lennox was here, so they replaced both of them. So there's a new AC coil and a new heater. So they went 2 different times. This one here is 17. So what was 17? Yeah. See, they replaced the coil in 17. Okay. But you see that because it's written on the data plate right here. There's
Okay.
a 6017. So 17 is the year that this coil was changed. Then I guess in 20, they came back and they replaced the heater, which would be this part. So that's the 2 different ages. They're 3 years apart. That's
Okay.
what it is. Okay. And that's exactly what we're looking at here. Okay. Lennox is a good system. You know, it's like anything. I tell everybody. You know, you have the Volkswagen and you have the Caddy, and
Right.
they consider it's more in the Caddy area.
Okay.
But you know what? A Volkswagen works just as good as a Caddy. It all depends what you want to spend. You know, in this case here, they got spent by Horizon. So of course Horizon gave them the best because Horizon has a deal with Lennox.
Okay.
You know, so
There
that's
you go.
exactly what happens here. Yeah. On the system itself, since it's new, what, a year old, we have a diagnostic chart here. Now, if you notice, I can't get to the motor or nothing, and there's a diagnostic chart. That's a good piece of thing to know, especially if you're a new owner. Any problems you have with it, inside this little area here is an LED. It's a little light, and you'll see it blinking. See it blinking?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So anything out of the norm, you just follow the code down, and it'll tell you exactly what's going on with your system. Anything like that. Okay. So this case here, it has the LED blinking. There's a number in there. All right, and that's exactly what will tell you what state it's in, and that's exactly what the codes are. And it's good for the owner to know that because if they ever have a problem, you're not going to be an expert. You can't fix it, but if you have an idea what's wrong with the system, then you're better off doing that. Okay, so that's exactly what I see here as far as that. I'll do this ahead of time so you can go and do your thing. You also have a humidifier on the system. This is used during the wintertime. All right, so anytime the house starts to dry out a little bit, we add moisture back into the house. And the little dial for that is probably upstairs.
Right.
So
Probably
it's in
at
percentages.
the, yeah.
Yeah. All right. This does have a filter in it, and yeah, it does have a maintenance thing for it. The homeowner can do it. That's no problem as far as that. I'm not sure if we can get to it. Yeah. This is exactly what the filter looks like, and that's a normal filter. Anytime you see them white like that. And what you don't do, you see the black frame here, you do not throw that away. You keep that, that comes apart, the filter comes out, you can go to Home Depot or Lowe's
okay.
and buy a new one. They're all the same size. Air does that, or Honeywell, Air, they all use the same size filter, put it back in there, but that's exactly what they're gonna look like when they're new, okay? So actually you had this installed when you had the heater installed. Okay, so that's exactly what it sets up. What he did do here, as you come through with my return air, and today we take cold air through, back through a filter, if you notice, they can get a 4-inch filter. In this case here, they only used a regular filter. That's what they used. Okay. You see that track and everything down there?
Yes.
That can come out. Now, they use the cheaper filter. That's the way the guys sell it to them. If they want, you can get the white filters, which is a little more dense, and you change them every 90 days, or you can get the 30-day ones. Or in this case here, if they want, they can take them 2 metal tracks out. See where the screws are on this track right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can take them 2 tracks out, and they can install 4-inch. No, hold on. They can install 4-inch
Okay.
if they want. Okay, and installing a 4-inch, now they have to change it maybe once a year.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, a little bit more expensive with a filter,
Sure.
but they can change it. They do have a water detector here. So basically what it does is that this little device here detects water, which is good. It shuts the system off, so you don't flood the basement. Exactly what it does. Okay?
Nice.
So that's exactly what's going on with the heating system. And of course, this is my exhaust side, and here's my return fresh air input. So you have 2 pipes that go to the exterior side, out the side here. Okay, the water heater, they use a water softener on it. Okay, we usually don't get into the water softener parts of it because everyone works different. In this case here, you need some salt, but there is a manual that goes with this, and also it'll tell you exactly how often, how to set it if you want to do water softener. Some people use water softeners, others don't. It is township water coming in, but everybody has their own take on it. If you decide not to use it, all you gotta do is turn this one here, open it up, and it bypasses this system, and you get regular water to the house.
Okay.
Yep, it comes in, right back out, over to the water heater, which is right here, okay? And you come down. Your water heater is, this year it'll be 6 years.
Okay.
It's 2015. The only thing we look for is leaks on these kind of things, especially down in here. Okay, and same thing here. If you notice you can't get to the inside, light it with a match or anything. The same thing I do all the time with people is look for shutoffs. If you notice your heater has a shutoff or gas shutoffs, those are here. I look for the drip legs, which they all both have, so it's properly installed. And then what I do is here, you got hot, ABC, very hot. And if you do anything with a water heater, you can always change the status of it, meaning the temperature, but you had to warn everybody that you did the temperature thing,
Right.
that type thing there. Yeah, that's exactly how it works. Okay. Your water heater's good. Double vented out, yes, that's double vented. Yep, that's a single vent, that's a double vent. Because I got that inch gap around it, half-inch gap all the way around this whole thing, so it don't burn anything going up. And that's my exhaust out. I do have an expansion tank. These here too have the tendency to leak, and if it does, you just change them out. That's not hard to do on that type here. We'll come back to this. Let's go to the electrical.